To save his tribe and family, a selfless leader sold his soul to the devil. In return, the devil gave him powers so great that he could impale thousands of enemies in moments. Today's explanation: Dracula Untold. Before we begin, please give a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Now enough talk, let's dive into the story. The movie opens in a forest. Some soldiers find a damaged helmet under a waterfall. The man who picks it up is Vlad. Soon we'll know him as Dracula. He wonders how such an incident occurred in this peaceful place. He looks up and notices the broken-tooth mountain from where the water flows. He takes two men and climbs the mountain to investigate. Inside a cave, they find broken bones scattered and another dented helmet. Suddenly, one of them screams and vanishes. Sensing danger, Vlad tries to leave with the other man, but not before striking a shadowy creature. However, he loses his last companion too. The creature now approaches Vlad, but suddenly stops. Vlad notices sunlight hitting his sword, and the blood on it starts turning to ash. The creature backs away and disappears. Vlad survives, but is deeply shaken. Back at his castle, he goes to the temple and tells the priest what he saw. The priest says that he and others had similar visions recently. They found out that the creature was once human, cursed after making a deal with a demon. The demon tricked him and trapped him in the cave as a vampire. Centuries passed, but the curse remained. The only way out is if someone willingly replaces him. Vlad gets the idea. He tells the priest to keep it secret and returns to his family. The next day is Easter Sunday, and a royal feast is arranged. Suddenly, the celebration stops. The Sultan sends men to collect the yearly tribute. Vlad already has the tribute ready, but the Sultan's envoy demands something else. 1,000 boys aged 10 to 15. And among them Vlad's own son must be given as a royal servant. Vlad refuses. Tension rises. The Sultan's man reminds him again before leaving. At night, Vlad spends time with his son. The next day, he meets the Sultan, hoping for a solution, because no one in his tribe will willingly give their child. But the Sultan stamps the demand and insists on taking Vlad's son. It feels like the sky is crashing down. With no choice, Vlad decides to sacrifice his own son for his people. At a quiet place, he goes to hand over the boy. The Sultan's envoy mocks him, calls him a coward. That's when Vlad snaps. A true man cannot stay silent when mocked during such sacrifice. He changes his decision. One by one, he slaughters the soldiers. 6 men fall in moments. But this is just the beginning. For killing those 6, a heavy price awaits. Vlad sends his wife, son, and people to safety. He alone heads to the cave at Broken Tooth Mountain. Holding a torch, he enters the darkness. The vampire toys with him a bit, then finally appears. Curious why someone returned after surviving. It takes time to understand. Vlad wants to make a deal. If the vampire gives Vlad his powers, he can finally escape and become human again. In return, Vlad will gain the strength of many men to fight the Sultan. But there's a catch. If Vlad drinks human blood within 3 days, he'll remain a vampire forever. If he resists, he'll turn human again. To seal the deal, the vampire offers some of his blood. Vlad drinks and faints instantly. He wakes later by the waterfall. Looking up, he sees the dark sky clearly. He hears spider webs being spun from afar and sees animals in the forest miles away. This time he begins to realize his powers. Suddenly, he hears an attack from his palace. Without wasting a moment, he rushes there. While running, he transforms into a flock of crows and can switch back into human form instantly. He enjoys it. Quickly reaching his people and family, he comforts them and ensures their safety. Then he decides to face the attackers alone. He jumps into the battlefield and slaughters enemies single-handedly. One moment he's here, the next he's there. Soldiers are left completely disoriented. Dead bodies of the Sultan's soldiers pile up everywhere. As night deepens, so does the bloodshed. Eventually, the battlefield falls silent. No enemies remain. Seeing this, his people are stunned. He tells them there's no time to waste. The Sultan might attack again soon. Ignoring him now would be foolish. That very night, Dracula leads them to an old temple in the mountains. After covering some distance, he tells them to set up tents before sunrise, as he can't go out during the day. Though he hides it, he starts to struggle, constantly craving blood. It becomes unbearable. Finally, he shares everything with his wife. Under the blazing sun, Dracula feels weak. Just then, he hears that the Sultan is advancing toward them. They must leave immediately, but he can't travel with them in daylight. To hide the truth, his wife comes up with a plan. She takes the group while he goes alone. The temple is a day's journey away. By dusk, they reach nearby. We then learn Dracula stayed hidden in the tent all day. Sunlight is deadly for his kind. Reaching the temple, he reunites with his people. There's a small clash with the Sultan's spies, but minimal loss. At the temple, everyone prays to be saved from the cruel Sultan. But Dracula isn't pleased. He believes prayers alone won't help. They must prepare to fight. The priest is offended. This becomes clear the next morning. As Dracula comes out with others, he suddenly stops in the sunlight. The priest notices this and remembers Dracula had asked about monsters earlier. Dracula had also criticized the believers. Putting it all together, the priest starts watching him closely. To avoid suspicion, Dracula enters the armory, but the priest follows and cuts open a curtain. Sunlight hits Dracula's face, burning his skin. Word spreads instantly that Dracula is a monster. People panic. On the priest's command, they set the room on fire. Inside, Dracula screams in pain but can't come out. The sun hurts more than fire. Meanwhile, the Sultan blindfolds his soldiers and marches toward the temple. The level of submission is shocking. Just before sunset, Dracula emerges from the flames. He's doing this for his people, despite the curse. Seeing this, they realize their mistake. If he wanted harm, none of them would be alive. His wife comforts him and takes him away. That night, Dracula visits the church with his son. In their conversation, we learn Dracula was once a royal slave. As a boy, his father left him at the Sultan's palace, where he grew up with the prince and later became a ruler. But now he refuses to let his son face the same fate. He knows the pain of that life. By then, the enemy troops approach. Before sunrise, Dracula must act. He bids farewell to his wife and climbs to the temple's top. He notices a swarm of bats flying around. With a hand signal, they seem to understand. They form a giant wave around the minaret, then attack the army below. The blindfolded soldiers are completely overwhelmed. Dracula gives another signal. The bats charge forward. None survive. Then Dracula attacks the Sultan, knocking him off his horse. But when he moves to kill, he realizes it's not the real Sultan. The real one has reached the temple and ordered his men to kill everyone and capture Dracula's son. During the chaos, a soldier attacks his wife. Hearing her scream, Dracula turns and sees her hanging off the edge. He kills the attacker but can't save her. Watching a loved one suffer like that is unbearable. Despite trying his best, he fails to save her. While he's distracted, the Sultan's soldiers enter the village and start killing innocents. At the same time, the sun begins to rise. Before dying, Dracula's wife makes one last request. She wants Dracula to drink her blood, turn into a full vampire, and avenge her death by destroying the tyrant emperor's power. Hearing this, Dracula's thirst multiplies. In a flash, he bares his fangs and bites her neck. Meanwhile, the vampire in the cave gets released. The sun was covered by thick clouds for a while. Taking this chance, Dracula rushes to his injured men and, following the ancient vampire ritual, makes them drink his blood. He does the same with others around him. A new plague is about to begin. From afar, the emperor's men see heavy storm clouds gathering. Before they can react, Dracula and his new followers storm the army tents. But this time it's different. Dracula alone caused havoc earlier. Now he has many new vampires with him, including seductive vampire women. Dracula reaches the emperor's tent, but the emperor had already captured Dracula's son and scattered silver coins all over the place, weakening Dracula. The more time passed, the more the silver's radiation drained his power. The emperor beats him badly and finally stabs him straight through the chest to end it once and for all. But he made a mistake. Dracula wasn't done. One last time, he turns into a bat and thrusts the weapon straight through the emperor's heart, then bites his neck. Thus, the tyrant emperor's name is erased from history. As peace returns, Dracula takes his son outside. The area is empty. Only the infected vampires remain. Now, things turn worse. Their eyes are locked on the only human left, Dracula's son. The vampires are bloodthirsty, but Dracula won't let this happen. The first one that charges gets impaled and turns into a skeleton instantly. Before things worsen, the priest arrives with a holy cross, weakening everyone. He convinces Dracula to hand over his son, as even he isn't safe with his father anymore. Just moments ago, Dracula lost his beloved wife. Now he must give up his only son. What could be more painful? Slowly the clouds part, sunlight returns, and the new vampires burn to ashes one by one. Dracula's end begins. But strangely, while all others turn to ash, Dracula's body remains mostly intact. When the field is empty, a stranger appears, cuts his hand, and lets Dracula drink his blood. Moments later, Dracula opens his eyes and breathes again. Elsewhere, his son sits on Dracula's throne. The silver coins are being melted down, leaving no trace of him behind. Scene shifts. In the present day, a gentleman sits at a table waiting. Dracula, in his usual form, is seen talking to a woman, his reincarnated wife. It's their first meeting. Dracula remembers everything from the past, but she remembers nothing. She's now a modern woman. As they walk away, the man says something new is about to begin. And with that, the movie ends. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Allah Hafiz.